Raiders now. After losing 33-13 to the Rams on Monday night, the Raiders are close to re-signing Martavis Bryant. If you recall, Oakland cut him before the season started after trading a third-round pick for him in the offseason. All this with a possible drug suspension lingering over the troubled wideout. CC, can Martavis actually bolster this Raiders offense?
I see a problem because Martavis only plays outside receiver. Amari Cooper can play some in the slot, but hadn't played a lot in the slot. Jordy Nelson has been predominantly in his career, he's played outside. Now, people say, man, I'm trying to put a wide receiver team together. Well, I like to have it like a basketball team. I need a point guard. I need a big guy, a center, or a guy who can score.
It's why Tampa, we thought, fit so well, because Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, power forward and shooting guard, right?
Yeah, and now they got a lot of similar traits. Jordy Nelson's a deep threat. Amari Cooper's a deep threat. John Gruden doesn't necessarily have that type of offense like the old Raiders where they threw the ball down the field an awful lot. So what I see is how they're going to use him. Like, is he going to make the room better? Yes, but only if the guy that's making the food understands how to use the ingredients. And I don't feel like Gruden utilizes three receivers well enough in his offenses to be able to take advantage of their talent. If this was the Pittsburgh Steelers and Todd Haley, I've been like, yeah, I feel like he's going to be utilized the right way. Now, is he a talent? Yes. Can he make big plays in the game? Yes, but we all need a system. West Coast offense, what is it? Get the ball out of your hand quick. All right? That's not his thing. He's good with his catch and his run, but that's not his thing. He is better off the further he gets down the field. So the Raiders and Gruden, I just haven't seen it yet. So are they more talented with him in the room? Yes. But I got to talk to the chef and see if he knows how to use ingredients maybe to make up this special recipe that Raiders Nation would be happy with.
And I got to talk to the chef to find out, is there actually a recipe? Or are you just grabbing a bunch of different ingredients?
It could be like your mama. She ain't got no recipe, but it's good.
Okay, yeah, but it better be good. If you're working without a script, it better be good, because what has frustrated me about the Raiders is they don't seem to have a consistent plan. You can't simultaneously be in rebuild while also being the oldest team in the league. You can't trade away Khalil Mack. One of the reasons we thought was because they've got this money earmarked for Amari Cooper, and not have Amari Cooper's development be paramount to this season. We know how talented Amari Cooper is. His first year in the league, nearly 1,100 yards. His second year in the league, nearly 1,100 yards. A down year last year, and then one catch in week 1 of this year. 6 games since the beginning of last season, Amari's had less than 10 yards receiving. That's got to be Gruden's #1 priority.
Gruden, when he signed with Oakland, one of the players he mentioned was Amari Cooper. Our passing attack will be centered around this guy. I'm going to continue to develop him so he's going to be one of the better receivers. Amari Cooper has unlimited potential. In the last year and a half, we haven't seen his game grow after coming into the league and being spectacular early.
This is a team that scored 13 points Monday night. Is this guy going to help with that?
Well, the thing with Martavis Bryant is theoretically, yes, because he is a big splash play guy. And I actually understand why they cut him and then brought him back. If he has the drug suspension looming, and if he's a guy that Gruden called him, he's like the white tiger. Sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. Use some odd zoo analogy. They didn't want to have his salary guaranteed for the year, so they cut him before week 1. They bring him back after. I understand that. But this is not where the Raiders have a major need. And to me, I am concerned about what's happened with Amari Cooper and the connection with Derek Carr over the last 17 games, from the beginning of last year to now. And I don't know that trying to get another wide receiver on the same page with Carr helps that, and that is much more important. The Cooper-Carr relationship, much more important than adding a little bit of talent to your wide receiver room.
If I'm a veteran on that team, which they got a bunch of them, I'm concerned about the messaging point of John Gruden. Khalil Mack, off the field, no blemishes, great character, great leader, great football player. John Gruden and them said that they were worried about Martavis if he was going to be available. So now we have a guy from Buffalo who's worked himself up. He's one of the best defenders, maybe the best defensive player that we have. He's done everything the right way. They decide we're not going to sign him. but a guy that they have publicized as we don't know if he's going to be here. He's a white tiger. I just haven't heard a coach use that a whole bunch. How good is a white tiger playing NFL football? The guy doesn't show up sometime, but we're going to allow him to be in the locker room. And the guy we didn't have any problems with, he couldn't be here. And you make up some excuse, oh, he didn't want to be here. So get a little consistent, John. All right? So I'm an advocate for guys. Josh Gordon. I've been, Randy Gregory, Martavis, all these guys, similar backgrounds to myself. But at some point, you got to be responsible for your decisions. And Gruden is going to have to be responsible with every subject for the Khalil Mack thing. Because if you don't have Khalil on that defense, you better have an explosive offense.
The only thing that makes the Khalil Mack a better story was when Gruden came out that night and said, yeah, no, we were lacking in the pass rush.
Yeah, I'll look at the film and figure it out, figure out what happened. They also just, by the way, like...
You got rid of your pass rush.
You said yesterday, see, your collection of your decisions. You gave up a 5th-round pick for A.J. McCarron, okay? He's the only backup quarterback on your roster right now. You gave a 3rd-round pick for a player you cut before the season started. You've now brought back and given a second chance. And that's the messaging to the locker room that I think is potentially troubling. To give multiple chances to a guy who just got there.
You didn't draft him.
You didn't draft him. He has no history with those players in the locker room, and he had red flags beforehand. Like, it doesn't, you're not telling a consistent story in Oakland. And sometimes, even if the story's not great, if you are building to something along a consistent narrative line,
yes,
then it can make sense.
And in that locker room, if you want guys to trust you, these guys don't know Gruden. It's like they're not watching Monday Night Football. Like, you have to develop trust in anything that you're doing. I just believe, based on his messaging, it's been inconsistent, and I believe it affects older players because they can see through it.
That's a good point. All right, we got to take a break. Coming up.